If you thought sandbox games are those that require a bucket and a shovel, you're in for a big surprise. Sandbox games are a variety of video games in which you, as a player, aren't limited to achieving some preset goals. You also have a lot of freedom to explore the game world and interact with other players. The most famous sandbox game of them all has to be Minecraft. When playing, you're literally placed into an infinite, randomized open world with no preset end goal in mind. You can go ahead and explore mountains, forests, caves, plains, and oceans, or begin to build, replace, or destroy the environment, all within a night and day cycle. This revolutionary game was developed back in 2009 and was initially named Cave Game. Unlike any other games at the time, it gave players the ability to create their own things, rather than interact with the game's structures. To build, you also needed to gather your own resources, more so to this day. Minecraft is essentially a game of survival. Players need to constantly overcome the hostile features of this vast world. Minecraft's blocky graphics became an instant hit because of the freedom it gave to its players. This game has sold over 200 million copies to this day and has more than 125 million monthly active players. The video games industry in its entirety is equally as fascinating, being worth a mind-blowing $100 billion globally. If we continue to look at the numbers, we'll see that about 2/3 of American homes have at least one member that interacts with video games regularly. These days, there are a variety of platforms to choose from mobile phones to PCs to arcade systems too. It's no wonder the video game industry takes the lead when it comes to computer technology. Where did it all begin though? Some say in 1952, when a British professor developed OXO, a game similar to tic-tac-toe, for his university dissertation. It was followed up by William Higginbotham's Tennis for Two in 1958, which was featured on an analog computer. It wasn't all fun and games, since back in 1983, the video game industry got a major blow. Due to a lot of different factors, the game console market became overcrowded, and to be honest, video games back then became pretty low quality. One such example was the now famous E.T., a game based on the movie with the same name, which is to this day considered to be the worst video game ever created. It was confusing, really hard to learn, and the graphics weren't that good either. The game was such a big commercial failure for the company that a crazy amount of copies ended up in a New Mexico landfill back in 1983. In 2014, some copies were rediscovered in the desert and were sold at auctions. Some famous game franchises that were launched in the second part of the 20th century are still around today. You've surely already heard of games like Super Mario Bros., The Legend of Zelda, or Metroid. Fast forward to the mid-1990s, when video games overlapped with the movie industry too. Super Mario Bros., the live-action movie, was released in 1993, for example. The Harry Potter video games are some of the most famous out there. They include a variety of options, some based on the novels, while others are meant to accompany the fantastical universe. Since 2001, at least 15 Harry Potter video games have been launched in total, and that is only for PC and consoles. If you ask the critics though, most will say that the Chamber of Secrets game is the best one. But there is no other game franchise like Mario. It was initially called Donkey Kong in 1981, and the purpose back then was for a little character named Jumpman to save his partner Pauline from an evil large monkey. The quirky character attracted audiences because of his red overalls and red cap. But how did he end up with the name Mario? The story goes that one of the creatives behind the game noticed that Jumpman was similar in appearance to one of the owners of the offices he worked in, and his name was obviously Mario. If you thought video games are mostly for kids, you'll be surprised yet again. One 2022 report noted about 2/3 of Americans play games regularly. That adds up to more than 215 million people. But that's not all. 75% of these players are over the age of 18. Even more surprising is that the average video game player today is 33 years old. What's so intriguing about video games that it keeps us hooked, even as adults? The answer is not that simple, because it depends on that type of game you're playing, and even your own personality. But most people say they still pick up a controller every now and then because it either brings them joy, stimulates them mentally, or offers them stress relief from their day-to-day activities. One other interesting reason is the fact that, well, video games bring us together. In 2020, for example, 65% of players said they only enjoyed games that helped them interact with other people. That number skyrocketed to 77% in 2021 and to 83% in 2022. Video games help us interact more with other people and allow us to connect with friends and family regardless of distance. Some adults have even indicated that playing games has helped them improve some real-life abilities. That includes problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and the ability to work under pressure and deadlines. Playing games can also give people a sense of stability and purpose. You play on a machine which has certain rules and restraints which you can easily predict. If you play by the rules, you'll win. It's easy and comforting. Surprisingly, even surgeons can benefit from playing regular video games. Studies have shown that those who indulge in a video game at times make 37% fewer errors and are 27% faster than their colleagues. This industry has also recently become a major spectator sports environment. Called esports, they've gathered more viewers in the past years than the Super Bowl or even the NBA Finals. Professional gamers can be really young. According to various sources, there's even been a 7-year-old professional gamer. Video games played in space? Absolutely. In 1993, a game of Tetris was the first one ever to be enjoyed beyond our atmosphere. The longest video game session lasted a staggering 138 hours and achieved this status back in 2015. From July 11th to the 17th, Carrie Swidecki played a game called Just Dance in a session that would break all the records. Remember when I told you Minecraft's surface area is unlimited? Well, turns out it is measurable, and it's estimated to be way larger than Earth's surface. Different sources claim that it can be up to 8 times larger, but there's no precise info about it. It was created this way to provide players with infinite possibilities to explore and create. Some video games have entire villages of people behind their creations, like GTA San Andreas, for example, a game that broke the Guinness World Record in 2009, becoming the video game with the largest voice cast. It had 861 people cast for voice services featured in the game, with 174 actors and 687 additional performers. Many of these added performers were just big fans of the game that really wanted to be a part of the story. Game Boy's original inventor was none other than the company's janitor. The president stumbled upon the janitor playing on a toy he had made out of boredom, and the rest is history. Needless to say, the janitor went on to have quite the career. The Sims is another one of those video game staples, allowing you to build your own house, family, and circle of friends inside the game. You can even get pets and jobs. Not a lot of people know, though, that it was initially meant to be an architecture simulator, with the characters only placed there to evaluate the buildings.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.